Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. The inward journey to the transcendental realm, beyond this relative existence of time, space and causation. We were seeing various aspects of Sri Ramakrishna telling, what will you get by floating on the surface? Dive within. What does he mean by dive within? Dive within and go to the bottom. What will you get on the surface? If you go to the bottom, you will get the gems. So we were discussing on that, how to go, how to reach the bottom. In that we saw the Dvaitic aspect of seeing the Ishtadevata in our heart, on the beautiful lotus in this heart. Heart we saw 3 different types of hearts: physical heart, then feeling heart and spiritual heart. Spiritual heart is the core of our existence, on which the Sthula, Sukshma, Karana, the gross, subtle and causal body are pivoted. It is beyond the Jagrat, Swapna, Shushupti, to the depth of our being. That is, I have to go as deep as I enter into the deep sleep. Through meditation, turning inward, crossing one by one layers, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, when we get the Savikalpa Samadhi, and still beyond, crossing the Vijnanamaya and Anandamaya, we get the eternal, infinite existence. We understand we are immortal, unrelated to bodily existence. So here we see this aspect, and we discussed a little about, though it is not our part that we follow into these things, other than this path, the Advaitic aspect of meditation also we discussed. And then further we now just will, any other things we have is the Kundalini aspect of meditation. That is another part. That is a part of the Shaktic path. Shakti or Shakta. Shaktis, Shaktas. Shaktas. The Shakta Sampradaya concerning the Tantras, in that we see the meditation on the base of our existence, in which the power is concerned, Shakti. What Shakti brought me to this universe, to this relative existence? What brought me? I am infinite, eternal. I am the divine. I have no limitations. I am eternal, I am infinite, I am divine. How did that infinite was made into my small existence lying in this bodily existence? What power brought me down from the eternal? That is, I am immortal. From immortality to mortality, how did I come? What power brought me? The power which brought me to this remains in my existence, the individual existence, to take it back. It is just like what we see, water that we pump in the tank above remains with the tank. And whenever we open the tap, that power which we have put to lift that water brings back through the tap. I have to put some power and put it on a higher level. It flows down to the lower level. By flowing down, the energy that I have supplied to put it up is bringing it down, back to the down. Like that, some power brought me to this level of existence, individual existence. Then the same power will remain in me in the individual level. That is, I am giving example of I. It means all the jivas. Every jiva that has come down into this universe, that jiva contains the power which brought it to the level of the time, space and causation bound universe, or the relative existence. From the absolute, we descend to the relative. The descendance is brought about by a power which remains in the individual existence to take it back. When it is released, it takes it back. So this power which remains with the jiva in its individual existence is called Kundalini Shakti, the power. The Kundalini Shakti is the power which has brought the individual, infinite to the individual level and is holding it in that state. So when it is released, it goes on expanding again. It has been contracted as if it has been unlimited, has been put a limitation on that. That power again makes the consciousness expand to the infinite and go back. This is called Kundalini Shakti. To awaken this Kundalini Shakti in the individual is the path of the Kundalini meditation. That it is quite a long process and a time consuming. Perhaps your whole life may not be sufficient to finish that task. It is not so easy as loving the personal God and trying to meditate Him in our heart and all that. It needs very strict disciplines for a long time under a proper teacher, Guru. Otherwise, we will be missing the track and wasting the life because we are dealing with power, Shakti. It is like a vehicle. A child is, some vehicle is there, the key was inside the vehicle, it just starts and the vehicle starts running here, there, haphazardly, somewhere it falls. That kind of accidents take place if after we know the driving, practice, if we release the engine, if we start the engine, we can guide and take where we want. Other we have to go where it takes us. So many people get serious ailments, including mental ailments. So this is to be done always under a teacher who guides, and there must be an innate nature of that soul to go along that path. Each has a particular trend. Some have Advaitic tendency, some have Dvaitic tendency, with what they are made up of. Now, a person who is Jnanapatha, he is always associated with renunciation. He is not easily attracted by the objects of the world. Anybody's insults, it doesn't affect him so much. Just he hears, understands, and leaves it. Anybody taking away or creating a loss, a harm to a person, he is not very much worried or affected by it as the normal man does. So this kind of to remain in a stable state always, this is a trend of the Jnana path, where reasoning power is more predominant in a person. So Jnana Patha takes in that Bhakti Patha. So in some, heart is powerful than reasoning. They can love God. They can think of something beyond the limitations. Whole universe is there, a power that governs the whole universe. Individual lives who is governing. They try to understand in little understanding with the concentrating the heart on that, focusing all the emotions there, it awakens. Even the Dvaitic path, always we go with the bodily existence, accepting the world as it is and all our limitations as it is. We go with the Deha Bhava and come out with the Atma Bhava. So as we try to love, there will be lot of confusion, lot of defects, but there is some power which is guiding our path. Nature participate, God participate. That is a different world altogether, where emotions are divinized. Not it is not associated with the world, the emotions and sentimentalism. It is the feeling heart first that awakens and diverts all our energies to a particular stream by which it goes. It focuses on a particular thing with bodily limitations. Then slowly the body, because God, we understand God to be something beyond the universe, pervading the universe. These understanding, the small amount of jnana, knowledge will be there. And then it is focused. When I understand what is spirit, other than matter, matter and spirit, spirit, God is pure spirit. When I try to contemplate on it, when I try to touch it, hold it, be beyond the limitations, then I slowly emerge out as the spiritual existence. Spirit alone can understand spirit. Spirit alone can interact with the spirit. I, as a body, is difficult or impossible to realize God or experience God. I, in a state where I am just like when I enter into sleep, dream, to enter into dream state, I expand my consciousness and enter into higher levels of consciousness where I experience God. And my bodily existence slowly goes back, and my spiritual existence comes forward to understand God. This is here in the what we call the Kundalini, this one, more because we are dealing with the base energy at the causal level, which has descended, causal level, gross, causal and subtle. Subtle, that is my bodily existence, my mind and senses, and where I enter into all my awarenesses, knowledge and go and stay in the causal body, there I have to, there the energy remains. That energy I have to awaken. Means what I have to do? My whatever energy I have to collect, concentrate, focus. Just like I focused my heart. I focused my heart in case of the bhakti path. I collected all my intelligence, reasoning, and focused when I went to the Jnanapatha, on the path of knowledge, path of devotion. I concentrate, I become the feeling, I integrate myself as love and flow. I integrate myself as knowledge and flow. Similarly, here I integrate as energy and flow to awaken the cosmic energy that is within me, that is Kundalini. How to collect and become one, that energy. This is done by the pranayama. Pranayama, the whole thing is based, the Kundalini awakening is based on pranayama. In pranayama, go on breathing exercises. Varieties of exercises are done in breathing because breath is closely associated with the energy level in the body. Energy level, prana's existence gross, subtle and causal, beyond causal. When we enter into deep sleep and expand in the to the universal consciousness and return back to the bindu and project out, this last is beyond the causal. It belongs to the Chaitanya. All these energies are to be slowly integrated, and that is done by the pranayama. Pranayama means the control of the pranas. I go on breathing in a particular way with particular rhythm, go on doing. And finally I find that a current flows against my breath. These are the nadis in which the current of consciousness flow, Chaitanya. Just like we have in the bodily existence, we have the various systems. There is respiratory system, it goes within. Similarly, circulatory system, in which we see blood is flowing throughout my body. From brain, there is nervous system, there is reproductive system, there is digestive system where we eat and all things reach the every cell of my body. So there is lymph system, drainage in our body. Like that, there is a system in which the consciousness flows. I am conscious. Every cell is working consciously. When a bacteria enters into our body, we understand how that WBC, white blood corpuscles, attack it. They are conscious. Every cell is conscious. Every cell is doing its work consciously. The consciousness, the more consciousness flows into my bodily existence, I am more alive. I am lively. I am enthusiastic. I am filled with zeal. The more consciousness. I can transcend the nature and go. That much of energy, that much of accumulation, that much of integration at the energy level I get just by pranayama. So in here the pranayama is done to control the energies and streamline them into one flow. Just like we do love, we concentrate and make it flow. Our intellect, reasoning power, we try to, here we do the energy. So lot of pranayama and identification of the chakras. When the child is born, before the child is born, with the conception, the first formation in the embryonic level is the spine with 6 levels of consciousness. From the top it begins Sahasrara, Ajna, Vishuddha, Anahata, then Manipura, Swadhisthana and Muladhara. These various layers of consciousness. In a particular layer, I experience the same world in a different way. In Anahata, I start seeing divine. I start seeing, getting the vision of God. In lower, I am with the nature in various levels. I am with the nature of my existence, not the external cosmic nature. I have my nature, which I have acquired life after life. In that awareness, I will be in that awareness of my individual existence. Cosmic, God pervading this, I will be at Anahata and Vishuddha. Beyond pure divine, beyond the creation, I go when I am in the Ajna and Sahasrara. These are 6 levels of consciousness are formed with birth, at the time of birth. So these centers of consciousness we identify. The first formation. It is where we interact with the world. We are at a particular level of consciousness called waking state. We can go to higher levels of consciousness. The waking state pertains to the lower three chakras. Then we get spiritually awakened. Then we reach the beyond. So, Jiva Tattva, Prakriti Tattva, and Shiva Tattva. The three. From Muladhara to Manipura is Jiva Tattva. Anahata Vishuddha pertains to the Prakriti Tattva of the nature's participation in my life, existence. Then Ajna and Sahasrara, they form the part of the Shiva Tattva, the pure divine. So my existence is made of divine, the nature outside nature, Prakriti, and then my own individual karmic load. This is my whole existence. I have to go to higher levels of consciousness. So each chakra I identify because they are something like software which you cannot see, you cannot perceive with any of your senses, but you can download into your computer, you can transfer to another computer the softwares, but you cannot see, you cannot perceive with any of your senses, ear, nose, nothing can identify that. Like that, we cannot see. Hardware we can see. Hardware, the manifestations of the software we can see in the hardware, but we can't see the software itself. Like that is our various levels of consciousness. So we try to identify its place. Now, I want to know what software is there. Where will I search? Will I search in my Almera? No. I search in my computer. So there is a place where it is available. I see my computer. I see another person's computer in which it is there. I want a particular software. I will go on searching there is a place where we search. Similarly, there is a place in our existence where I can identify these chakras. So it is with the bodily existence at the most lowest part of my spine is called Muladhara. About 4 inches above, it is Swadhisthana. Behind the navel, it is Manipura. At the center of your chest, heart level, it is Anahata. At the center of the throat, it is Vishuddha. Between the eyebrows, it is Ajna. At the crown of our head is the Sahasrara. So these we try to slowly sit without any movements. Try to, just like suppose somebody is giving an injection to me. He says, look on the opposite side, that side, I am going to give you injection. I will be seeing the other side. When he is giving injection, my whole mind is there. How he is going to prick into my arms. So how I identify, how I experience that pricking. I am not looking, none of my senses are perceiving. The sense of touch alone is perceiving that point. Like that we identify the points where the possible chakras are there. Each has a bija mantra. So that bija mantra is uttered, and then we imagine a lotus. It has color codes. It has the bija mantra. We meditate on each chakra with that lotus, the Muladhara with the 4 petals, Swadhisthana with 6, Manipura with 10, Anahata with 12, Vishuddha with 16, Ajna with 2, and Sahasrara with infinite. So like that, we try to imagine first and try to fix our attention there. Try to condense myself into that spot. Each when I go on meditating, the various paths are there by which we go to the Sahasrara, come down, each has a bija mantra. We have each school of theirs have defined in a small difference with small differences. So it begins with pranayama, and that pranayama I identify the flow of the consciousness. Now the flow of consciousness needs to be arrested or I have to move with the flow of consciousness. So when I attain that subtlety of perception, in gross level I cannot go on doing for 2-3 years. Immediately I start feeling that particular, where am I touching? Where are these points? It starts giving me signal. I am able to perceive because my mind, my intellect, my feelings have become subtle. It can penetrate into. Now it is gross level. I deal with the matter every day. I don't deal with the existential aspect. I'm trying to go to the existential aspect beyond the gross, which is pervading the gross, subtle and causal, and in which it is established. The substratum I'm trying to go. So my mind becomes subtler. It is able to perceive. It is able to perceive like that. The Ida Pingala crossing each other in the chakras. It is flow of consciousness. We try to blow air through that. I create an imaginary, seeing a picture, I try to create an imaginary and go on breathing. I take the breath, pass through the various ways and hit the Kundalini Shakti and again try to come back. Again with the next breath, I go on hammering. Like slowly I'll be able to feel the current in which in the way in which I am taking my air breath, supposed to be, it's an imaginary process. It's throughout an imaginary process. Now, when I do it for many years, I see a reverse flow. This is the flow of consciousness. This is the nadi. Nadi identification takes a very long time. It is against, just like we have a cell. There is positive and negative. Any child or anybody asks, how does the current flow? He says from positive to negative. But the flow is not from positive to negative. The electrons flow from negative to positive. Actual flow is a flow of electrons. They are flowing from the negative to positive. But we say it is, conventionally we say current is flowing from the positive to negative. We will be taking positive. When we touch the tester to positive phase, it is drawing electrons from my body and that is getting illumined. It is their current is not coming out, it is drawing the current from my body, electrons from my body. So the actual current, the flow is different. Current we understand in a different way. Current is from positive to negative. The actual flow of electrons is from negative to positive. It's a negative charge, it's a positive charge. The electrons have got accumulated there and it's going to flow. And here it will be showing positive. So we consider positive and negative as positive because there you cannot feel, here you can feel. You can feel the current, there you cannot feel the current. So the difference is, similarly, we go on imagining and blowing the one time, we see the flow of consciousness. In the exactly opposite. It will be, you will never imagine that one day you will be recognized it in opposite direction. So this is called nadi. Once the nadi is identified, you can awaken each of the centers of consciousness. We will see in the further class. Just a understanding, that's all. Don't try to do any of these exercises without a proper guru who has attained through that path. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.